Hi, my name's Poppy and I'm here today at Pit Hill Nature Area where hopefully I will be starting some of my first forest school sessions. So just to give you an insight into the woodland area, so the woodland area is predominantly coniferous. It has a large cluster of pine trees, which you can see just behind me and all the way around. If you can see, you can just see the path behind me. The area was planted in the 1960s as part of a woodland community area for the local mining community. As you can see, I will flip my camera around if I can. As you can see, the ground of the woodland area is predominantly covered in pine needles, which drop at varying points in the year, which also means that there is very little chance of any plants growing in the woodland area. We are lucky because there are some clearings in some of the clusters of trees, which means that there has been areas of grassland areas. There's also quite a large group of holly bushes that tend to grow, you can just see in the distance, just around the clearings of the woodland area, along with some smaller saplings that are also growing, as well as some brambles, nettles, dandelions, which tend to thrive more on the edges of the woodland area. As you can see, the pine trees are extremely tall, beautiful pine trees, which surround the whole of the woodland area. The clustering of the pine trees is quite dense in certain areas more than others, which does tend to mean that less sunlight can reach the woodland ground on the ground layer, which obviously then means that there is less chance of any plants to grow on the ground level. And again, as you can see around where all the clusters and the density of the trees and the pine trees are, you've pretty much just got the ground layer with no existing shrub layer until you look out towards the clearing and the edges of where the pine trees are. You can start to see that there are some lovely holly bushes and some saplings, and also around some of the other areas of the woodland you can find some bluebells and snowdrops, and also some dandelions, but again they are towards the edge and the clearing of the woodland area. Here I am at the edges of the woodland area in the beautiful weather that is rain, and as you can see behind me, there is a lot more diversity in the species of plants that are growing around the clearings and the edges of the woodland area. The more that you walk through the woodland area around the edges, you will see that there are lots and lots of holly bushes, ferns, lots of fungi. There are also some more local flora like daffodils that are going now as it's getting into spring. But yeah, as you can see, the difference down here compared to the dense woodland at the top that is with all the clusters of pine trees that are growing, you can see that the area is much more diverse and a lot greener, and plants can really thrive down these parts of the woodland area. especially as the soil is probably less acidic due to the lessening of pine needles that drop further down in the woodland area in comparison to the woodland area at the top, where the floor is covered in pine needles, which obviously causes the soil to become quite acidic. Also, just to note that down the clearing of the woodland there are a lot more beech trees as opposed to the pine trees. Although they are quite closely clustered together, they're obviously not, they don't shade the woodland area as much compared to the pine trees, obviously being a broadleaf species, which obviously then allows a lot of the shrubs and brambles and a lot of the plants on the ground layer to thrive with the sunlight.